I'm Pamela, and this is the Xenessa Project. In under 10 minutes, we find clarity beyond the feed.
Signal found. Reset begins now.
I have to tell you something a little embarrassing. I've always loved writing, always wanted to write a book. But for years, decades, I couldn't even keep a journal going for more than a few weeks. The reason? I have a bit of OCD. Everything I write, it has to be perfect. Perfect structure, no mistakes, no cross-outs, and no messy thoughts that don't flow exactly right. Which, if you've ever tried to write anything, you know is impossible. So I would start a journal, and by the end of the first week, I was already dreading it. Wrestling my thoughts into neat sentences on a page was exhausting. And the dream of writing a book, it felt impossible. I mean, how could I ever manage 200 pages when I couldn't even stand 3 imperfect sentences? But something changed recently, and it's not what you'd expect. I started working with AI, not to replace my writing, but to help me get past my own barriers. With AI, I can pour out all of my messy, imperfect, jumbled thoughts, and it helps me organize them. It takes my scattered ideas and shows me the underlying structure. It even asks questions that push me to go deeper. For the first time in my life, I feel like I can express myself in a way that's truly heard. AI has turned what once left me paralyzed into something accessible. This isn't replacement. This is augmentation. And the difference, it's everything. Okay, so what's really happening here? For decades, the story about technology has been pretty straightforward. Machines take over human work. We've seen this with assembly lines, toll booths, entire industries, right? Humans out, machines in. But what I've personally experienced, and what's happening in places like operating rooms, classrooms, and law offices around the world, is something different. It's not humans out, it's humans plus. In my case, the machine doesn't do the work. It removes the barriers that stop me from doing the work. It handles the structural, boring stuff like organization, polishing, and technical execution, so I can focus on what only I can bring: my ideas, my perspective, and my voice. But here's where it gets complicated, because that same technology that frees me from perfectionism paralysis, in other hands, it can become a leash. The difference comes down to control. Who's driving? Who benefits? And what gets amplified? Your unique capabilities or someone else's agenda?
According to Tom Davenport and Rajiv Rananki in their 2018 Harvard Business Review article, Artificial Intelligence for the Real World, AI's most transformative role is not one of substitution, but rather one of support. They define augmentation as humans and AI actively collaborating to enhance cognitive performance. MIT economist Eric Brynjolfsson, in his 2014 book, The Second Machine Age, argues that humans and machines have complementary strengths. Machines excel at computation, pattern recognition, and processing vast datasets without fatigue. Humans remain unmatched in creativity, empathy, contextual judgment, and moral reasoning. A global McKinsey survey conducted in April 2023, published in August 2023, found that while only 15% of current work activities can be fully automated, up to 60% of occupations can integrate AI augmentation. Translation? Most jobs won't disappear, they'll evolve. Research reviewed by MIT Sloan in February 2025, covering over 100 experiments conducted between 2020 and 2023, showed that human-AI collaboration often outperforms humans working alone. However, in some tasks, the best AI systems outperformed both, highlighting the importance of balance and context in collaboration.
So the research backs this up. It's not about AI being smarter than humans. It's about different kinds of intelligence working together. And when that partnership works, both sides get stronger. But let me tell you what I've learned about the dark side of this. I was talking to a radiologist, Dr. Jennifer Walsh. She was thrilled when her hospital introduced AI that could flag potential tumors in mammograms. The technology was incredible. It made her more effective and helped her catch things she might have missed. But then the administrators saw it differently. They started doing the math. If AI can handle the pattern recognition, maybe we don't need as many radiologists. Dr. Walsh's augmentation became her colleagues' layoffs. Or take Alex, a customer service rep, whose company gave him an AI tool to suggest responses. Instantly, it helped him handle complex cases more efficiently. But then, his managers started measuring how often he deviated from the AI's recommendations. What began as support became surveillance. The tool that was supposed to augment his judgment became a script that constrained it. And here's what keeps me up at night. The difference between my experience and theirs isn't the technology. It's who controls it and how it's implemented. In my case, I choose how to use AI. I keep creative control. I can accept or reject its suggestions. It amplifies my voice without replacing it. But in corporate settings, that control often shifts. It sits with people who view employees as costs to be optimized, not as humans to be empowered. So, how do you know if you're looking at real augmentation or replacement wearing a friendly mask? I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and it comes down to 3 questions. First, are you still making the critical decisions? When I work with AI on writing, I'm the one deciding which ideas to explore, which suggestions to accept, and what voice to use. The AI handles structure and grammar, but the creative choices remain mine. Second, does this free you to do more of what only you can do? For me, that means getting past perfectionism paralysis to actually express my ideas. For a doctor, it might mean spending less time on paperwork and more time with patients. And third, who benefits from this augmentation? If it's making your work more meaningful and effective, that's augmentation. If it's just making someone else's profit margins look better while monitoring your every move, that's something else entirely. The future isn't about humans versus machines. It's about ensuring that when we work with machines, they amplify what makes us human rather than diminish it. When I think about the book I can finally write, it's not because AI is smarter than me. It's because it helps me get out of my own way. It takes care of the parts that used to paralyze me so I can give my energy to the parts that truly matter. That's augmentation working as it should. Machines carry the technical load, humans bring the meaning. So here's my question for you. What's something you've always wanted to do but couldn't because of some technical, logistical, or psychological barrier? Could the right kind of augmentation help you get past that barrier and finally do the work that matters to you? You've been listening to the Xenessa Project. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop searching for signal beyond the norm.
Signal fading. The search continues.
If this episode spoke to you, and you've had your own experience with AI helping or holding you back, tell us at Xenessa.com. And be sure to follow the Xenessa Project and sign up for our newsletter.